syncopate. But let's now get to the finals here. Ivan Floch on the right against Elias Watsfeldt on the left. Two of the best players here in this top 8 in the finals of GP Lisbon. Who's taking it? Rooting for Elias?
I'm rooting for Elias.
I have to root for Ivan. He's my countryman. I'm predicting him to win the match. He has a sweet deck, but he has to face against a very fast start from Elias right from the spot. A Slitherhand into a Gorehouse Chainwalker. It's exactly what Elias wants to start off this game with.
And he is playing Slitherhead and Bellowing Lizard, I believe it's called. So 2 cards aren't that amazing, but that round out his deck. Even Floch does have the perfect 2-drop here.
Yeah.
Dreadbore. I just have to say, Elias, from talking to him, from watching him draft, watching him play, both of these are very deserving of a Grand Prix trophy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think we do have a great final here. I predicted that these two would actually reach the final.
Yeah.
And that not only because of their drafting and their cooperating during the draft, but also because of some very tight play.
Yeah, and actually Ivan, with a win here, would actually round out a 9-0 sweep today in matches, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Basically going undefeated in draft.
Basically, yeah. And actually, remember the story about Shuhei Nakamura winning 14 in a row? This would be Ivan winning 11 in a row. So still quite an achievement. Starting off with a feature match against Andrew Muller on day 1, where both players were on the brink of elimination.
And he draws the supreme verdict.
He draws the supreme verdict at the perfect moment there. Yep.
As if he had planned it.
Yeah, as if he did. Oh, wow. Yeah, we see a big crowd around the game there. Loads of people drawing out the oohs and the ahs there. Yeah, Elias with only a Thurical Assassin follow-up.
And once again, we see a 20-10 life total. These the one-digit life totals being the ones that matter in Return to Ravnica. Yeah. How do you deal these last points?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a challenge now that Supreme Verdict has traded 4-1. But Elias always looks like he has a plan. So
yeah. How clutch is that Supreme Verdict? Again, Ivan, really sick. Also, okay, Precinct Captain. And a Rune Wing, I believe, yep, with the Knightly Valor still in his hand.
With the strength of the Thurical Assassin being that it's almost impossible to double block thanks to Death Touch.
Oh yeah, however, I believe if Elias doesn't do anything, key here, the Knightly Valor on the Precinct Captain will take over the game. Okay, so Scavenge from the Slitherhead, 3-4 Thurical Assassin now, gets in for 3, even down to 7.
So Ivan could actually double block here.
He could.
But with Knightly Valor, of course, he doesn't really have much interest in that. But he could prevent the damage. And Slitherhead didn't change the way the double block would have turned out.
Yeah, but I think Elias just wants to, if Ivan actually doesn't, he just chumps, Ivan just chumps with a Rune Wing. Conservative play, another land from Elias. So if that Knightly Valor resolves now, Elias is in a lot of trouble, unless he draws Rogue's Passage or starts going to the Dome with the Explosive Impact.
And even that Rogue's Passage might not be fast enough.
Yeah, Ivan plays it conservatively, so just attacks with Precinct Captain. He will get a 1/1 token. Anyway, he doesn't want to risk it because he does have Thought Flare in his hand.
We saw both of these players be very conservative and careful.
Yeah, Ivan's just an insanely patient player. Once he gets the game to play by his rules, he's going to take over. Now the Thought Flare, there he will probably discard 2 lands, having a handful of spells. That Leo Sky Knight there will come down, or maybe
this was certainly a game.
Oh, Dramatic Rescue.
Which would have gone very, very different without the Supreme Verdict top deck. And it was a top deck. We saw him draw it.
It was so timely. Wow. And actually, it's the card that was so good in the semis against Svaning Gernrud as well.
True, yeah.
And the quarterfinals as well.
We saw it clear a board against against Lasse and deal with a stab wound as well.
So again, patient play by Ivan. He does have a vassal soul here. First, starts off with the Lee of Skynet, adds the vassal soul, just adding lots of creatures to the board. Yeah, another land from Elias. It looks like as if he was just, like, I have nothing, I just had the land, but we saw that he did the same thing against Johan Fergel's last game, and he actually had the goods.
Yeah, but now that Ivan is on 10, and Ivan isn't going to risk anything here.
Yeah, now he's safe in the Dramatic Rescue. That Knightly Valor resolves. We do get a 2/2 soldier token. Actually, Ivan probably came prepared as well. Yeah, he does have one on his own. Leaves mana up for the Dramatic Rescue just in case, so it doesn't get burned out to double explosive impact, for example. Yeah, you see the crowd watching. There's at the back we see Stanislav Tsivka and Lukas Shiklovsky.
Joel Larsen was also in the crowd.
Joel Larsen there, rooting for his friend there. Yeah, Elias, 6 mana. No, land. Yeah, so Ivan Floch takes it down. Elias really was only bluffing. He just had land. But you see the players are already relaxed. Getting to the finals there is a great achievement for both players, and I think Ivan has been going through a lot of personal things. He wasn't able to focus on Magic 100%. He also started his studies again, so I think there'll be a very great retribution here, just proving that he actually has what it takes and brings home the title.
And this is also going to give both of these players, or basically all of the top 4 players, momentum going into Pro Tour Gatecrash.
Oh, definitely.
I assume that the format isn't going to change completely. We get 5 new guilds, but several of the concepts we see are going to continue to be relevant, especially the understanding the structure and the guild matchups and how everything connects.
Yeah. And actually, Ivan is on a good start for this Pro Tour season. He already finished in the top 100 at Pro Tour Everson Restored in Barcelona. He did manage to get into the top 8 at the World Magic Cup with Team Slovakia,
which is very important to
quite a few points there. He also finished 4th in the Team GP in San Jose just before the Pro Tour return to Ravnica, where he finished in 49th place. So also an additional Pro Tour point. You see him being very consistent and having these nice finishes, racks up the points slowly, and this will help him to establish the position to get the pro points for the for this year. So that we will see him quite often, and he's just such a great player in national team world. He actually managed to get on the national team several times. He wasn't actually the best pro from Slovakia last year. It was Robert Jurkovic, Platinum Pro. But actually, Ivan just dominated both dominated. He dominated both World Magic Cup qualifiers, losing one to a mistake. Just one mistake and he lost the match, and then just retribution, and he played perfectly in the other one. So very well deserved there. So here we go, game 2, Ivan Floch against Elias Watsfeldt. Elias starting off with a Tavern Swindler on turn 2,
which he picked quite highly.
He did, yeah.
It's just when you think about it, he does want a 2-drop every game, and that became apparent right after his first pick. He started off with a Bloodfray Giant, very aggressive Rakdos card if you want to, and then his second pack was the pack that we saw Ivan Floch open in the draft video, where Ivan passed an explosive impact, which people would expect to see taken after a Bloodfray Giant.
Yeah.
But Elias prefers to take a Dagger Drum Imp at that spot, simply to get a 2-drop, get an evasive source of damage, and that's what he did. I'm really impressed by how things are going.
Oh, definitely. The Elias Skynet detaining the Dead Rebels for a turn, Tavern's Swindler getting in. Yeah, even not blocking. Now the Bloodfray Giant. I think he needs a Supreme Verdict again, but he doesn't actually have the verdict. Or does he? I mean, he just drew planes.
I don't think so. He does have a second white.
He does have a second white for Azorius Justiciar, but I'm not sure if he can actually race here. He does go for the attack there. He will. I'm pretty sure he will play the Justiciar here if he doesn't have the Supreme Verdict.
Yeah. Detain being much more powerful if you are actually on a realistic offensive plan already.
Yeah.
With only the Sky Knight attacking, it's actually not enough to stem the bleeding.
Yep.
Of course, it interacts nicely with Supreme Verdict if he has it, but
Supreme Verdict was still fine in this situation. He would be able to attack for some more damage here. Elias now knows that Ivan does have the Supreme Verdict. He has to play around it. Probably doesn't want to dedicate more creatures to the board at this point. It's a tough spot to be in because he does have also have a Rogue's Passage on the Tavern Swindler and gets him for 2.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to allow the trade there. Even though I think that wouldn't have been the end of the world.
Yeah, but now Ivan actually can. He does have a Nightly Valor in his hand,
and he can play it without fear of anything happening. So
this is a pretty racy game right off the bat. I mean, the Justiciar would get down up to a 4/4. This attack would be for a total of 7 damage. Yeah, here comes the Nightly Valor. We still see a Precinct Captain in Ivan's hand. He also has a Tower Drake, so actually he can try to raise here, play 2 blockers on his turn, and hope that's enough. Because now Elias has to deal with the Azorius Justiciar with the Nightly Valor on him, just because it can block his Dead Revelers. And I mean, Elias can go for the Rogue's Passage on the Revelers and attack with the Bloodfray Giant. But Ivan might be happy to trade there, considering what he saw.
The thing is that Elias was certainly aware that him activating Rogue's Passage would give Ivan the
initiative
opening,
yeah,
the opening to
as well,
play that Nightly Valor. And I think that if he was basically losing to a Nightly Valor alone, he probably wouldn't have activated Rogue's Passage just for that bluff aspect. So we see him holding Explosive Impact, and the difficult thing here is not what he wants to.
Deviant Glee comes down.
The interesting thing is he actually doesn't want to play it targeting the 4/4 Vigilance guy, because he would much rather just kill Ivan with it.
Yeah, and Ivan now sees he's playing against 2 5-power creatures and a Rogue's Passage in play. He's probably double blocking here just so he can trade.
And the 5
or
power,
just trading with the 4 Bloodfray Giant.
The 5 power being the major theme of Elias's Rakta strategy.
Yeah, I mean, Ivan does have double Dramatic Rescue and a Void Wielder. If he manages to, if he has one of those in his hand, he's sitting at a pretty decent position. If he doesn't, he really needs one ASAP.
And if he's forced to block here, then the Deviant Glee has done its job.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Ivan. We know Ivan has a Precinct Captain and the Tower Drake in his hand. So cards which won't really impact the board much. He really needs something more.
And Elias is basically threatening the kill. And while Ivan doesn't know about the Explosive Impact, he also has to be aware of Traitorous Instincts and several other instances that could impact his blocking here. I'm actually not sure what Ivan should do here. He certainly can't take 10.
Yeah, that much we know of, and Ivan realized that. And the threat of an Explosive Impact also being quite big there.
So that basically only leaves 2 options. You either only block with a 4/4, or you decide to go for a double block.
Yeah.
But well, how do you double block when both creatures are, when there's a 5/4, right?
Yeah, it's a 5/4 trample.
Both are potentially 5/4 trample.
Yes.
Well, actually, the Dead Reveler is 5/5.
Yeah, 5/5 trample. Yep.
So how do you even block here? You risk losing to any kind of removal spell anyway. You can try to kill Bloodfray Giant here defensively, but you are giving away your offense completely.
Yeah, we saw another card in Ivan's hand is a Charm. Actually, not the best card, but right now. But yeah, because we see he is restrained on blue mana as well. So yeah, he's grabbing both.
So I feel like we are going to see a double block on Bloodfray Giant.
Think so?
Simply to prevent all the trample damage, and it's less risky against the removal spell. if he double blocks the Dead Revelers, then a removal spell on the Night token would just spell absolute doom.
Yeah.
And as you said, he does have the Dramatic Rescues
Yeah.
and
Actually,
the Void Wheeler. So, but he does decide to go for the stronger creature here.
yeah. So the 5/5 Dead Revelers. Yeah, he goes in and decides to kill the Justiciar with the Nightly Valor. Takes 5 from the Blood Fray Giant, going down to 9. Basically, knowing all cards are equal, the Explosive Impact and the Blood Fray Giant attack are lethal. Okay, so one more Dead Revelers.
And I don't think that Elias is going to unleash that. He does want to. Oh, he does. He does want to block the Night token though. Being on 10, giving
a
Ivan,
Dramatic Rescue at this. I mean, he can block the Night token with the Tavern Swindler. Ivan actually drew a Skymar Grog. Not what he's looking for.
This game might come down to Elias having to decide whether to Rogue's Passage his Blood Fray Giant or to Explosive Impact Ivan Floch directly, and then Izzet might actually be the decider.
Yeah.
We know that Elias is down to that single Explosive Impact, and
yeah, I mean, what Ivan can decide to do is play the Precinct Captain here and leave out mana for the Izzet Charm. And actually, he could also, if he doesn't use it on his turn, he can actually use it to cycle through this deck looking for a Dramatic Rescue. It's probably not what he wants to do here.
He probably wants to combine it with First Strike.
Yeah, he's really constrained on the blue mana. Just one mana there. Okay, so starts off with the Key Rune, and
so
it's a Tower Drake. Okay.
He decides that he can basically risk tapping out one more turn.
Yep.
And he isn't. Well, he is threatening lethal.
He is
with his Tavern Swindler, with a Dramatic Rescue on Tavern Swindler. But Elias figured that he might just want to play this very offensively, which is why he decided to unleash.
At this point, I think Ivan is dead just because the Blood Fray Giant deals 5, and we know that there's the Explosive Impact in his hand. Yeah, but then he shows it. Yeah, so Elias Watsfeldt takes the game 2, and we're heading off to the decider, game 3, and all our European GP coverage finals here that we have had this year.
Yeah, so
always exciting.
I feel like Ivan has to be thinking about if it would have been better to just drop Precinct Captain and keep open Izzet Charm.
Yeah.
It's easy to say later, but he was presenting quite a clock, and the fact that Elias unleashed his Dead Reveler could have meant that blocking and playing Izzet Charm would have actually been sufficient.
You see him, knowing Ivan, he is shrugging a little bit, and he's going through the game mentally, where he could have played differently. He did quite a few options, but the game developed in such a way that Elias presented a really big clock. And as you said, what Elias was saying, Blood Fray Giant, it's a bomb. It's not a rare, but it's a bomb.
Yes.
It's huge.
And Rogue's Passage is as well.
Yeah, that's what. Well,
for Elias at least.
He also said that about Deviant Glee,
which was very relevant in this.
It was. Yeah, you're trying to justify it now, but I agree. Sure, it was good here as well. I think Ivan, if Ivan draws a Dramatic Rescue and can put up some sort of pressure, I think he should be fine. He also has a Supreme Verdict, which he didn't draw this game.
So
some mana problems as well. So
the thing I'm trying to recall is if he just drops the Captain and leaves open Izzet Charm, he has to be aware that Elias can just Rogue's Passage his Blood Fray Giant, but then it isn't a lethal attack. Yeah. So I feel like with the help of Izzet Charm and whatever else Floch has, he should actually be able to attack for lethal the following turn.
Yeah.
So that's something that those that have the power to rewind could actually check. We don't, but we have another game up.
I know Ivan actually will watch the games that we have covered and just try to find. Even though at this point he's in the finals, he must be pretty happy about that. But still, he will go and look and try to find something different, just like in day 1. So both players keep that. That's good.
And just like we are missing some things here on stream, these players have been playing for 18 rounds.
Yeah.
So
turn 2 Keening Apparition from Ivan does have a pretty decent draw. Now he draws the Precinct Captain, so a pretty aggressive draw. He also has a Dramatic Rescue and a Void Wielder. he looks to be the aggro player right now, and if we see a precinct captain, maybe a Dead Revelers without Unleash.
Yeah, so this is not where Elias
Yeah.
wants to be, and we'll see if he can actually play the game against the 20 life Azorius deck as well. Play his game against the 20 life Azorius deck.
Ivan drew the Supreme Verdict. He also has a Kieran. He doesn't have a fourth land.
So the question is really how aggressively does he want to play against this Dead
Yeah.
Reveler? It feels like simply the threat of him attacking with the Precinct Captain has already given him quite an advantage. It's not really necessary to push that advantage by wasting your spells bouncing irrelevant creatures.
It doesn't get you. You don't do anything by it. You just get an extra 1/1 token, which won't do anything because the Dead Rolls will come down. You take a bunch of turns, but it's not worth it to waste a card like that in this situation, especially considering how we saw the Bloodfray Giants, the Deviant Glees, the Pursuit of Flight, all these auras.
And Dramatic Rescue also being insanely relevant against Rogue's Passage. Basically time walking or double time walking in the right circumstances. So, yeah, I mean, Elias would have loved to have a more explosive draw here, especially being on the draw, missing that 2-drop and being forced to not unleash his 3-drop.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be really interesting if Elias, who does seem to have a plan for everything, also has a plan for this.
Another non-unleashed Dead Revelers. I don't think Ivan minds. He can play the game slow. He does have some card advantage spells.
He did draw the Supreme Verdict he wanted in game 2.
Yeah.
It's actually not that great now because.
But it's still fine. That's why Runewing is a bit better in his deck as well. Just because now he plays it as if he didn't have the Supreme Verdict in his hand. Just plays out a flyer and can start getting in the air for 4.
And he still has that reset button.
If he needs it. Yeah, if he ever needs it. Elias did have quite a few lands in his hand, and a Cobble Brood, which is not doing much at this point, considering there's a 2/2 first striker. But we also see Deviant Glee there.
He has Deviant Glee and Stab Wound at hand, so he's really interested to see that Keening Apparition leave the battlefield.
Oh yeah.
Maybe just planning to Deviant Glee up that Cobble Brood.
Possibly, but yeah, that Stab Wound would kill any creature now on the board. So yeah, Deviant Glee on Dead Revelers, so making it 4/4, potentially with Trample. Ivan, I don't think Ivan is going to go for the trade there. I think, actually...
What you can do, and what if people do, is to just block and then destroy Deviant Glee, which means that Trample is still relevant for 2 damage, but that's a fine trade, basically.
Oh, I believe if you block with the Keening Apparition and destroy the Deviant Glee in response, the Trample is activated. Yeah, he still deals the 2 damage, but yeah, okay. So Elias elects against it just because he wants to play the Cobble Brood. Makes sense.
And now he still has that Stab Wound. Not being the greatest, but Ivan is drawing some lands here, so it's really...
Yeah, so Void Wielder on the Dead Revelers and swings for 4. He really, you wouldn't say that there's a Supreme Verdict in Elias's hand.
In Ivan's hand.
Ivan's hand, sorry. Yeah, in Ivan's hand there. And he can easily just chump block the Cobble Brood with the 1/1 token, and the Void Wielder takes care of that. And even if we see a Rogue's Pass, Elias has a really good hand. This might prove to be a spicy one.
Elias always has more than you think.
Yeah,
it feels like, and then he just kills you with Traitorous Instinct. Now Ivan is going to be very careful, but he has to be happy that he has up to 4 damage in the air.
Yeah, he has a much better board position now. The Rogue's Passage in Elias's hand, he will hold on to it for a bit longer. There's no point in starting to Rogue's Passaging up the Cobble Brood now because Ivan is still on 20. Elias has to develop his board somehow.
Elias would like to do exactly that, but I feel like he has to get that, at least that Dagger Dome into play, simply because it negates one of the flyers. Both players,
somewhat, yes.
Yeah, it virtually trades, but at the cost of 1 life each turn, basically, for both players. But if it holds back one of the flyers, then it does its job.
I think Ivan Floch is just content, maybe attacking for 4 with his flyers, leaving a Dramatic Rescue. I think he's more than fine with that. So the jig is up, Rogue's Passage into play, Dagger Drome Imp, and I believe Elias will probably leave mana up for a launch party, or maybe just go for the stab wound immediately. Yeah, he does go for the stab wound. Targeting the Void Wielder, interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean that's the only card that he can target to actually deal damage. So
Yeah.
interestingly, he did play Rogue's Passage, which I would have only expected to see in case he wanted to have stab launch party mana up.
Yeah.
But it seems like either he decided against this or he just doesn't care that much that his Rogue's Passage
Yeah,
is
we
shown.
saw Ivan actually drew a Leaf Sky Knight, so what he will try to do now, I think, is he might have wanted to. Okay, he plays it pretty conservatively. I like that. He could have Leaf Sky Knight played it, targeted the Dead Revelers, and get in with the Precinct Captain as well, while presenting more on board. But he knows Elias is the one who has to take initiative in this game, and Ivan can easily just wait out and bait the Supreme Verdict.
And he knows that at this point his ground creatures don't really matter. The Precinct Captain would have dealt too, but the 1/1 soldier being really irrelevant, and the fact that he's holding back his Leaf Sky Knight and he has that dramatic rescue as well is now telegraphing that he's setting up a Supreme Verdict to win this GP.
Sure, he could also just easily dramatic rescue his Void Wielder back to his hand, play it on his turn, and attack with some of the creatures, but he's not going to do that. Or is he? End of turn?
It does gain him 4 life, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Virtually 4 life. Goes back up to 19. Gets the Void Wielder in his hand. Surely targeting the Dead Revelers there, just so he can get in more damage. With the interesting.
So now
he can actually go with Leaf Sky Knight into Tower Drake. I believe if he does have 6 mana.
But this would also be the one point where he could actually Supreme Verdict. So that's another option. But he doesn't feel like that's relevant. That's
he received the launch party, played on the Azorius Kieran, the Slitherhead gets destroyed.
And Elias did give that away somewhat because he neglected to use his Rogue's Passage despite having a Cobble Boot in play.
Yeah. So he was telegraphing something. But now that Elias has played some of his cards, he's probably looking to put a counter on the Dagger Drome Imp from the Slitherhead and even out the situation on the board a little bit. But
it's really interesting how that lone Dagger Drome Imp actually makes that Leaf Sky Knight not that amazing. Basically threatening to trade with it. And now it's getting interesting because Rogue's Passage is there. Ivan went up to 17, but 17 is also only 3 swings with a Cobble Boot once you make it 6/3. So that's also another equation that Elias has to have in mind. He is taking quite a bit of damage, so he can't just afford to take too much damage here.
Yeah, and that destroying that key room very very key. I'm making these puns up as we go. But I mean, even the Supreme Verdict still, Elias only has 1 card in his hand, and Ivan is still on 17 life. If Ivan just swings with everything there, or even just decides to chump block the Cobble Boot, for example, if there's possibility.
I love how Elias is slitherheading, scavenging, and then wants to put the counter somewhere between Cobble Boot and Dagger Drome. And he knows that he wants it on the Brood to have a 3-turn clock, but at the same time he knows he can't raise the flyers of Ivan. So this game is getting into a very tense situation here, and still no Rogue's Passage activation. So there must still be some instance or post-combat plays that Elias has
because
prepared.
He has to play something because Ivan certainly doesn't mind the situation. Life totals being pretty even here. We know there's I believe there's still the Void Wielder in Ivan's hand. So passes the turn. We'll see here. Knightly Valor.
Knightly Valor, but your Rakdos opponent does have 6 open mana.
Yeah, and we saw Explosive Impact played before. So, and knowing Ivan, he will play it conservatively.
Yeah, that's,
I already know him.
That's a conservative guess, but
It's a conservative.
so we might actually see him just not cast anything, or maybe bounce the Cobble Brute, maybe even the Dead Reveler to get in with
Definitely.
Piercing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will go for the Void Wielder here. It will make Elias replay the Dead Reveler, not being able to activate the Rogue's Passage. A pretty decent trade-off there. But I'm sure he's just trying to make sure that he's playing it well, considering. Actually, Lief Sky Knight first, just to present a lot of damage.
Yeah,
on the board.
a similar function basically.
Yeah. And a bash for 4, taking Elias actually down to would take him down to 7, and presenting a lot of damage the following turn, especially with the Void Wielder in Ivan's hand. Elias cannot really use the Rogue's Passage, cannot go get aggressive. He has to play something here.
We really never know what Elias is holding. It could be Explosive Impact, could be Tenement Crasher, could be another one of his auras that he likes so much.
Ivan just with the 3 decent cards in the hand: Nightly Valor, Void Wielder, and a Supreme Verdict. The Nightly Valor definitely threatening the lethal as well.
Yes, and if Elias doesn't have anything good at the end of the turn,
Explosive Impact.
and he's going for an aggressive.
Trader's Instinct, maybe.
I don't know what to Trader's Instinct though.
He would need something else as well.
I was thinking that this could be an option for a Tenement Crasher.
Yeah, Elias might have made a small mistake there, forgetting maybe about the detain from Lief Sky Knight, wanting to be aggressive, not being able to. Now no hand from Elias Watsfeldt. Even Floch, who knows that he can safely play the Nightly Valor, and getting forward with the Rune Wing, and present lethal for the following turn. Nightly Valor, 2/2 token, attack for 4 from Ivan Floch. Elias down to 3. Is there something that Elias can draw to save his day? You see how he's smiling. I think he knows there's no outs.
I think he's out of outs. He draws his card. No, he's in his upkeep. He draws his card.
Tyrant Swindler?
I think it's Golgari Longlegs, but
Tyrant Swindler. Oh, no, Golgari Longlegs. High five to finish off the match. Ivan Floch takes the tournament, his first individual GP top 8, and he converts to a win. A great achievement. Ivan Floch, the winner of Grand Prix Lisbon, taking home the trophy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to him. Great effort, but a great effort by Elias Watsfeldt. Actually, Ivan Floch won 11 matches in a row to get to this point. A great achievement following Shuhei. You see everyone's high-fiving there. Everyone's happy. You see Ivan a little bit overwhelmed by emotions there. Surely it must have been mind-racking and playing so many rounds of Magic. He fully deserved this. And he'll be happy and he'll be partying tonight. And we'll go home. I'll go home with him tomorrow, and we'll be holding the trophy. I can't wait for that. We'll be enjoying ourselves. So here we have the winner of Grand Prix Lisbon 2012, Ivan Floch. Great tournament.
Let's not forget about Elias. He played an incredible tournament. Also, all of the players that made top 8 did incredibly well in a very complex format where a single misstep can spell doom, which we've seen all over the place. And that was amazing Magic. Once again, the single elimination rounds didn't disappoint.